Hi Stampin' friends. Tonight we're going to use two stamp sets actually and bundles. Petal Park is the one that has the punch that matches, and Sentimental Park is the one that has die cuts that match it. And the Sentimental Park one has those adorable little designs that look like this one. Like that, makes those little edges that are so cute. And it also has a lot of great sentiments and sentiments that you can put together in a little cluster. And then this Petal Park only has the stamps and then the things that you can punch with the punch, and then a couple of little extra pieces that don't quite fit along with that. But anyway, I think they're great together, and I think they're great separately. So if I were you, I would pick the one that I think is the most fun and go with it. But anyway, it's a lot of possibilities with just one set. One thing I have noticed though is when you're on Pinterest or something and you do a search for it, they do tend to look alike. They do tend to look a lot alike because we use the beautiful matching paper. So I'm going to show you one with that, and then I'm going to try to go ahead and show a couple of different color combinations and a couple of different things just to kind of give you some options, maybe some things that you hadn't thought of. Now, I will warn you when I turn the phone down a little bit, this is a mess. I have so many out because I wanted to show you so many possibilities with this one. Okay, the first thing I wanted to show you was that they are clear photopolymer, and each one on this on the Petal Park has both like an outline and then like a filler stamp. And I have noticed that I think you can use either one by itself. So something to consider there is just use whichever one you think looks better with what you're doing. Now this card is I guess I should have done a little bit here with my bone folder to get it kind of smoother. This card is going to be a gatefold, and what I have designed here is just, let's see, I think this one's about out of ink, of sticky. Just going to do it like that. I think this pattern is really pretty. It's kind of a forget-me-not sort of look, and this is just a regular size card front. It's just that it's scored at 2 and, let's see, I think that's a quarter. I don't want to tell you wrong. Let's see there, 2 and an eighth. It's scored at 2 and an eighth, and then you cut your paper down. Of course, it's 5 and a half tall. Then you cut your paper down to 5 and a quarter by 1 7/8 for these door flaps. It's called a gatefold, and it's a lot of fun to do. Okay, so once you've done that, then you'll want to kind of consider if you think this is a certain level of contrast, but it's possible that it might be nicer to use the balmy blue, which is the color of the forget-me-nots here, because it might give it more contrast and more definition. This is what I think is the most exciting part of this stamp, is the way that you have this piece that you can use on its own, or you can tuck this in to these the little spots here that are cut. Well, maybe I can, if I can get it. There we are. I have to look at what I'm doing instead of just talking. You can tuck that in there. You can see it almost doesn't even need any kind of filler piece or anything. So there you can see how I've just kind of planned this card, and it doesn't really need much else. It has this, you could add some, maybe you'd like to add some Night of Navy colored flowers, or maybe you'd like to add a few of these balmy blue ones like that. But you can see that it really has quite a lot going on already. I think all we would necessarily need to do is maybe fill in a few of these centers with some rhinestones, and that really puts the card together nicely. It just makes it look almost finished to begin with before you've really done very much. You can see how quickly that came together for me. I did have a couple of scores to do on it, but other than that, it was pretty much die cutting and a little bit of stamping. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I stamped these, because I've done several like this where they're stamped and then kind of put together on a spot. So I'm going to try to do it on this piece here and see how it turns out for me. So I'm going to start with the happy birthday. I'm going to do that in Night of Navy. So just kind of imagining how I can get it straight, and it probably won't be. Since I've got people watching me, I kind of don't worry about it, because sometimes that can just make you nervous for no good reason. Now I'm doing the balmy blue on the dear friend. Actually, I would suggest, if you're going to do this, do the dear friend first, because it's larger. You'll see how terrible I did on this. So here's my suggestion. The dear friend was pretty easy to get centered in that. Now this is in case, you can always stamp it and then cut it out, but say you wanted to try your hand at getting this stamped on an already cut out piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the dear friend first, and I felt like that was pretty easy to do. It's longer, so it's a little bit easier to get. I don't know if you would, I'm not really worried about centering it so much as I am just getting it on the point. Like on the points, like up and down centering, I guess, is more my problem than the side to side centering. Well, that didn't help. So maybe not. Maybe I'm silly, but I thought that it would. And then it would be, it's easy once though you have your dear friend to tuck your happy birthday into the spot where the dear friend is, if that makes sense. But I'm going to give that a toss. We don't need any evidence. I'm going to get rid of the evidence on that one, because we don't need to see it. But let's go ahead and add a few little pretty shinies to this. I don't know if we would want yellow. You might want yellow centers on your flowers. And then you might want to even add some starry sky or navy blue around it, just as another option. Now, one thing to remember when you're putting a card together like this, you want to be sure and only put adhesive on the one side. So, okay, I think it's about time to call that one good. But my point is, only put it on, it doesn't, I guess it's up to you which side, but only put it on one side so that you'll be able to open your card. So that's kind of important. We do want to open our card. Okay, so now I kind of wanted to show you a couple of options here that I think look nice with the navy. This is probably supposed to be Starry Sky. That's the adhesive backed milky dots. You can see I've used several of these colors, but also this golden yellow color. I'm going to go ahead and put some on this and see what we think. Now, one thing to consider when you've got this this side piece, it might be a little more difficult to put these on there because they may not have anything to stick to. So I'm just going to put maybe 3 on this side, maybe just 1 out there completely on its own. These others, if I need to, I can put some mono multi green capped glue under these, but I really can't reinforce this one very well because we don't want it to show on this back side. We don't want to see glue coming through. Okay, so there's that. I'm liking the, see what you think. I'm liking the golden yellow color of those. I think they look nice with it. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and put some through here. The problem is, look how I've decimated my my set of these immediately. Like, oh, that didn't take long. So I'm only putting these in the holes of the thicker ones. So I'm leaving the delicate ones open. But I could see me using this a lot. I think there are definitely people special enough to get these dots, in my opinion, because I think they're really pretty. They really add to it. Okay, whoops, here I can get them off my fingers. And then I was thinking about putting a couple of the large dots, maybe here on my happy birthday. But maybe I want the small ones. I don't know. Let me look here on the actual, oops, I dropped one. That was wasteful of me. Just kind of imagining putting the happy birthday with the blue, and I think it just gives it a little more emphasis. So I'll have to decide if I like it. I don't think I like how I've placed them on here. Give that one a scoot over there. But anyway, you can see how easily that looks like it's a quick card, but it looks like you spent a lot more time because there's so much pretty stuff going on. Okay, so that's that card. Then I'm going to start on one. And you can see I could have used this in navy. I could have done a lot of different things with this. Lots of choices. Okay, now this card I kind of wanted to show you with some different paper. I did another gatefold, and I used the Dainty Flowers Designer Series paper instead. Hi, Linda. It's great to see you. Thank you for hopping by. I appreciate all of you stopping by tonight, or whenever you're stopping by on replay or whichever. So I was kind of just wanting to show you how this looks. You could, at this point, in my opinion, you could put one of these guys on there. Because I stamped this in the Pear Pizzazz / Old Olive. And and I am going to stamp one of these in just a minute. And you could pop those guys, well, don't know where my other orange one went. I'll have a sad. I've lost an orange one. Anyway, you get the idea that you could put that on there and make it kind of go together. You could even use your blender pen or whatever blends and go ahead and color this in and make it look really intense. And then you could add a Thinking of You sentiment or one of the other sentiments, and that would be super cute. Then the other thing I kind of wanted to show you was these guys that have the, just the die cut. It's just a die cut alone. So my point of that one, oops, I think I might have dropped it. Let's look real quick. Hold on a second. Because I am not, oh, there is that guy right there in the floor. Okay. All right. This tall, skinny one. And I think it looks really nice with this as well. You could put a solid color behind it if you'd rather. But I just thought that this one just kind of blends in nicely. And if you haven't got the Dainty Flowers yet, but you wanted to use this with it, I think it's kind of pretty. And then because of this, I wanted to use this blue color. I wanted to use some purple flowers, which sometimes forget-me-nots look blue and sometimes they look purple to me. But you could pop these little guys on there a couple of different ways, and maybe a couple of your stamped images, and just what I think is a completely different look. And on this one, I just stamped it and cut it out, the Thinking of You, and that would make a nice sentiment for this card. So let's go ahead and stamp our purple, and let's talk a little bit about how we did this. I used the punch to punch first, and then this actually isn't the one I used, but to punch my spot, you know, slide it all the way in and punch to make a template. Oops, got myself. Then to use my, let's see here, use it to set my stamp into my block like that so that I could stamp it. So what you want to do is turn it over so that then it will be correct. So then I'm going to grab my purple. This is it. This is my Highland Heather. Let's set that little punch aside. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these white ones that I punched, just showing you because they are trash basically. Now, they don't have to be. You could pop this into your Stamparatus and it would be very easy to place them in there and stamp them that way. You've got so many choices when you have a Stamparatus. But this just kind of makes it easier in case you don't. So I'm just stamping those in the Highland Heather. And then, because otherwise I could be having to come from opposite sides of the paper. I could have to twist it like this. So that's the reason that I put it together like that. So now I'm just lining it up And then if I can just hold it long enough to punch it, then I'll be all set. I'm gonna keep my hand back from it this time. And who knows where those went? Yeah, here they are. So you could put those on there if you wanted to, you know, add a couple little flowers. So let's go ahead and try to put this together. I'm going to put that one aside because I don't want to use it because this one turned out better. The one I did on camera turned out better than the one I had done ahead. So yay. All right, I'm going to get my Stampin' seal here. Just going to put these on. Now I did kind of, as I was doing the cutting of this paper, I tried to cut so that I would leave a little bit of purple here and there, just to kind of highlight. So there's a little purple right there and a little purple there. And yes, I'm sure that the other paper does look better, but I was just trying to do something different and try to show you some options so that all of your cards won't look exactly the same. That's what I'm just kind of lining up. Try to get it on there. There we go. Then of course I will line the inside eventually. Okay, so let's use this piece. Try to decide where I'm going to put it. Maybe off to the side. I mean, there's just a lot of choices. And I could get this looking a little busy, but anyway, maybe you like this one better. I mean, this one is so striking, I think. You can really see what you're doing with it. Okay, so I'm going to do just this one for a minute. So I'm going to look for my Mono Multi Green Capped Glue. Oh, this is a brand new one. Let's see if we've got that. Hopefully the other one will be open. That'll save some time. I think it is. Let's see there. That glue top off. And I have this turned around to the back side, and I'm just putting it on the big pieces and then each end. Maybe a spot in the middle. Try not to get it everywhere, although I know I will. It gets kind of, if you're worried about it, you can always take a sponge jobber and you can smooth out the glue so that you don't make a mess on your card. I'm going to turn this around to me just a second so I can kind of tell what I'm doing for placement. That right there. And then I'm going to pop my Thinking of You over on this side. Just going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal, which of course you could use your Mono Multi Green Capped Glue on that as well. I'm ending up covering up all of my purple if I don't be careful. Let's see, maybe I should put it down here. I kind of think so. Kind of scooch that off and down at the bottom. Then I probably should have scooted this over just a little. I think I can still move it. And I have so little glue on this that I think it'll be fine to scooch it over. I think my point is I think I'll be able to get it off with my adhesive eraser that I have. We don't sell those anymore, but you kind of have to have one. They're very helpful for messy crafters like me. Like if I had thought better, I probably would have named myself the Messy Crafter instead of the Stampin' Bunny, just because it's like, yeah, I'm pretty messy. Okay. All right, that's good. So then, now that I have that part done, I'm going to add a couple of flowers here and there. Just kind of imagine some flowers. And then I think I'm going to put the flowers, I think I might just put them up and down this. And I hope that I can stop myself from getting too many. I mean, I realize that this looks like it's for a big flower, which certainly that would look great up there. But I was just wanting to make this look a little more die cut. So that was kind of my plan with this. So, because you could also put these tiny ones down on the Thinking of You as well. That would be super sweet. One down there. And here. Just kind of popping them all over. So what I've done here is put 3 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And I think I'm going to stop there. Actually, I think I'll just go ahead and put a couple down here on this Thinking of You. That might be a good place to stop. Well, maybe I'll put 3 because I have 3. Hope I don't have any of these upside down. Kind of a who knows sort of thing. We are. Last one. All right, so I need to kind of scooch it a little bit. I hope it hasn't stuck yet. I don't think it has. All right, so there I have that. And then my next plan is just to add some purple. So I've got a couple choices here. These are the opaque adhesive backed gems, and they would be pretty on there. Just kind of add a little bit of purple. You can see I could make the centers purple. This one has a yellow center, so I could add the yellow that I had done before. And I could even add some of these, which are the fun flower resin shapes that are in some of the in colors, which including the fresh freesia. And I glued this sucker wrong side up. That is too bad. Okay, there we go. All right, so you can see I might want to add these instead. That could have been really pretty. You can pop these in the center there. Maybe just on these right here. That'll make it cute. And then just leave these guys over here on this side, or maybe put some other, maybe put some rhinestones. So you can see that's just a different look that you can have with this same set. Got one more to show you real quick. This one, I used the Petal Pink, which to me is a peach. I kind of call it Petal Peach half the time. And then the Pool Party. I wanted to kind of show you as well, if you think it kind of fades away, you can always put this, and maybe the, when you're using the paper that matches, it's even more so. But when you put the white behind it, it really makes it pop. So you could have put the white behind this or whichever. But one thing that's fun about this is you can see both sides of this with this. You could make a monochrome card with this and use it as your center, or you could use the way that I kind of planned it, which is using the Petal Pink as the main thing. Then all I'm going to do is add some of our ribbon. I'm going to put some ribbon across the back. This is the Pool Party Grosgrain that is in, and I love the way that they've started putting that kind of summary of what's in the catalog in the back, and it helps me not miss the ribbons because I can absolutely overlook things as I'm going here. Okay, and I'm not sure, now that I look at this, this is Balmy Blue, and this is Pool Party, but I think you get the idea. You could certainly use whatever color. All right, so there's that. I'm just gonna kind of imagine this, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do a bow. You know, I love a bow. So what I thought I would do here is do a thinking of you, or a, let's see, dear friend. Thanks, dear friend. That's kind of what I was thinking. Okay, so I better clean this real quick because I can't remember what I did last. Can you all remember? I'm not sure. I think I better clean it. So because the Petal Pink is a little light, I'm going to do the thanks in the Pool Party, and then I'm going to do the Dear Friend in the Petal Pink. So I think I'll go ahead and do the Dear Friend first. Okay, there's my dear friend. There we go. I better change that to Happy Birthday because I'm looking at that. I didn't leave enough space. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Happy Birthday and the, not the Balmy Blue, the Pool Party. Pool Party. And Happy Birthday. Okay, so close that one up. I'm trying to put these guys away because they are clearly in the way. There we are. Okay, so then I'll just tuck this under the edge there like we talked about. One good thing about this is I'll be able to go in when I fix this, and because this one didn't turn out just perfectly for me, I'll be able to go in and fix that. And you also get this small piece here. It doesn't have a tuckable one, but you can certainly get that, your sentiment on here and layer it on. I believe this is one of the, this angle here is in one of the punches that we have, where you can punch 2 different shapes on the end. And so that would look really nice layered on here. I should have got that ready for you, but I didn't think about it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this on the back of this. Just always remember, if I sometimes use glue dots and I sometimes use Stampin' Seal, but it is really helpful to go ahead and put a little bit on top of these so that they stay stuck. Okay, got that. I'm ready to put this here. And at this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals under this layer. That would hold it up nicely. Well, it would if I had some. There's not any on that one. I'm sure I've got a ton more sitting here. Just have to get to them. Oh, those are the tinies. Here we are. So I'm just going to pop them in the corners. Get that centered on my card base. Scooch it up just a little. Okay. And then just mount this on the top here. And maybe you could put your bow here. Doesn't have to be necessarily touching this nice ribbon. It could be kind of separate. So there's lots of choices with how to finish this card. But then I would probably get out the champagne rhinestones. I really like those with petal pink. I think they make it pop. It's probably what I would use in the center here. Pearls would be gorgeous as well. So what we did tonight, we made this card, which, you know, unexpected is what I was going for with these two, was something that maybe you weren't planning when you bought the set. And then what you are expecting, which is this really pretty paper, and then the way it coordinates so beautifully with these dies and stamps. I appreciate you all watching, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.